7-pound smallmouth.
No.
And they made him fillet it.
Dollar smallmouth. Dollar smallmouth. Dollar smallmouth. Welcome back, folks, to our Modcast Outdoor Podcast. Today we have Josh Pladies, right?
Got it.
Yeah, from Clutch Swimbait Company.
Yes, sir.
Y'all seen me mention it. You seen the podcast with Luke. We talked about the clutch pretty heavy.
Luke's been known to throw it.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks to Luke is where I seen one of the videos for the Eco, actually. And I was like, we'll see, and then because I've been throwing other brands for a while, and Josh, you're the expert. It's hard to get us a hard bait, swim bait to swim right.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
it's really easy to get it to do this in the water, but it's really hard to get it to perform like a good glide bait should.
Yeah, and a lot of the glide baits that I did throw before this is the bass would like look at it like, what the flip is that? You know what I mean? And they'd follow it out of curiosity, not out of hunger.
Yeah.
And I watched a few videos of yours on the Eco.
Yeah.
And then I seen those tank reviews that you do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Those are cool.
Yeah.
Those are freaking awesome. And I was like, there's no way that every one of them swims like that. They're perfect out of the box, you know? And I was like, I'm going to buy one. Yeah. So I bought one, and we have them at Modern.
Yeah.
If you guys want to, Modern's one of the dealers.
I think you guys are getting a restock here pretty quick, too.
Yeah. So y'all check them. Come in, check them out. Tell them Eddie sent you.
There you go.
But yeah, I bought one of the Ecos, and that was the first one that I bought. And I was throwing it around. I was like, this thing swims perfect. No matter freaking you throw it and you barely chop it. Yeah. Or you freaking burning the piss out of it. It swims. Yeah. It doesn't roll. It doesn't blow out. I'm like, all right, okay. And then during our AIA, our second AIA that we fished this year, I had one of our key bites on an Eco.
Nice. And
I caught him, and I actually made a post about it.
Yeah.
And after that, I got the OG, now the Baby Boss, now another OG, and another Eco.
You're all in now.
Oh, 100%. I actually, right now, if y'all want, hit me up on Instagram. I'm selling some other
stuff.
So y'all, if you want it, I mean, it works. It's just Clutch is better. Just saying. I don't know. I'm just honest.
We spend a lot of time on product development. Yeah. Like whether you love it or hate it, scopes become a big portion of fishing nowadays. Yeah. And as I don't look at it as much from the fisherman perspective, I look at it as from a bait designer perspective. Okay. So like if you're throwing over 50, 60 bass in a day, how many of those are you getting to commit to the bait? So like, and I can see if I do this, if I've got one on it and I do this particular thing and that fish turns away, I did something that fish didn't like. And instead of looking at it from like a fisherman standpoint where it's like, maybe I need to switch up baits, I look at it from what did that bait do at that exact point in time that they turned away? So it's like, what, like the Boss, for example, was a great example of that, where it's like, you're kind of, or I guess Baby Boss, Boss, we finally got right after a long time, but the Baby Boss, we had been throwing that and throwing it, and it was doing really good job committing 3 to 4 pounders, but like 5 to 8, 9, 10 pounders, like they'd come up to it and they'd sit there and then they'd turn away and go like, so something was going off on it. And what it was when we hit it really, really hard, it almost cartwheel on itself. Oh, and it took us a while to like figure out what that was, like what that, because I mean sometimes you can't necessarily see it out that far. We had to be in some super clear water to see it hit, and it kind of rolled just a little bit funny, and made some adjustments to it, got it closer and closer and closer to where it needed to be, and we started seeing those conversions start going up, where it's like, okay, now it's catching 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounders. Like that's where we want it. And
so you're saying the Baby Boss catching giants?
Oh yeah. We had a ton of them at the Classic. And probably for 2.5, 3 weeks after that, I got a picture of like an 8+ pounder every day in my messages. Yeah, it was insane. Like there's we'll give him a shout out. Matty Wong has broke his PB on that bait twice.
Wow.
Twice he's broken it. I think the first time was like a 9 something, and then he just caught a DD on it.
Oh yeah, I seen that. That 10. What was it? 10, 11 or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It was a big one.
That's a
but,
big. That's a,
yeah.
Man, my biggest is a 840, and I did not catch it on a glide. I caught it on a worm.
Was that up here in
Table Rock?
That's a giant for Table Rock.
Yeah, it was last year. I actually broke my PB twice on Table Rock.
Man,
one was an 841, and the other one I caught in a solo series.
Yeah,
this past April caught a 735.
That's
in a tournament. That was, and both of them were in the tournament.
That's crazy.
And I won big bass on both of them, obviously. You know? But yeah, I've had numerous on the OG.
Yeah.
The color, I'm gonna tell you guys. The color was the shad something with the pink line in it. What was it? What's that?
Mossback?
No. There's you dropped the bosses last time you dropped the bosses. You had one of those purple ones.
The purple one.
And then you had it's like a section.
Mousy?
No. Is it mousy? No, it's like
grayback?
No, it's white. It's a white bag.
White bait.
It's a white and it's got a pink line down the side of it.
Oh, pearl?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
yep.
pearl.
Yep.
And I bought I bought it here in Modern.
Yeah.
And oh, dude, the fish I caught on that thing until it got broke off of.
Every once in a while, like so the thing with a resin bait is it's not. I mean, obviously, it's not mass produced in China. Like they're all individually hand done. But there's a ton of like inconsistencies with resin, and that's what I think makes a bait maker good, bad, whatever it is. Okay, anyone, like if you try hard enough, you can make one bait swim good.
Okay,
it's like, can you do it consistently over 500, 600, 700 baits a month? Like, can you physically make all those baits perform well? And I mean, don't get me wrong, we're gonna miss stuff too. Like, and that's and from a bait maker's standpoint, like, or not, from a customer service standpoint, is like, we're going to take care of guys. If anyone has an issue with our baits, we're going to make sure that they're taken care of. It's an expensive bait. It better come with some good customer service. So that's why it's like, well, if anyone has an issue with it, it's just, I always tell people, reach out. We'll make sure you're taken care of. But like, we do put a lot of time and effort into trying to make the best product we possibly can. So it's just all a gigantic process.
Yeah. I also, quick question about the tails. My dumb butt made the mistake of leaving it on the deck. I don't anymore. I left it on the deck and running freaking 65 down the lake. And the tail just went fluffy.
Yeah.
I use some bait fuel. Yeah. Kind of to, and it works, but is there a way to like replace the tails?
So generally most of the time right now the tails are glued in, epoxied in. So you pretty much have to, if you can try to get it out yourself, and I'll just ship you a new tail. Okay. But sometimes you do have to send it back to the shop and we'll replace
so there's an option.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Sometimes it's worse to get them out than others, but as of right now, it's pretty much one of those things where you kind of have to send it back to the shop and we'll take it.
I'd rather do that because I don't trust myself fixing one of the tails,
and that's like, it almost acts like a rudder back there, where if you've kind of got that thing at a weird angle, it can kind of tend to roll a little bit, and you've got to do a little bit of tuning to get it to swim right. So the tail back there is kind of like a little rudder where it can kind of help steer the ship a little bit. But
so like just being relevant, I just got a baby boss. I already threw it a couple times, so I kind of know what I'm doing with it, but out of the box, what is the sink rate on that thing?
The sink rate's, it's gonna be a little bit faster than your super slow, and it's just it's such a thin bait that we try to go a little bit faster just so you do have that added stability. Okay. So like the lighter and lighter we go with it, it's going to, like, if we were to have less ballast in the bottom of that, it's going to try to roll a little bit more than it should. Okay. So it's super, like, there's not much resin there. It's pretty pretty small. So we do go just a touch faster than what we do with a normal boss.
Yeah, I noticed that, like, that with different, like, I threw other baits, and that's the one thing I noticed with the clutch ones. They're a lot thinner.
Yeah. I think you get more bites. So like
I do
even
too. I've noticed that.
This has kind of been like a theory I've developed about this for a while, where it's like, so even in super clear water, so say Table Rock, for example, where you get like super clear water, everyone's like, oh, well, they're all visual feeders. And I was actually joking with a buddy about this on the way down. It's almost like the more senses you can like present to a bass, I think the more apt they are to bite it, as long as those senses are like satisfied. So think about it this way. I guess let me say, the point that I'm trying to make is I still think that they use their lateral line a lot in clear water. I think they're still feeding off that a lot. And think about it from our perspective. When you've got just a turkey sandwich sitting there, you're like, all right, that looks good. Cool, I'll eat it. Now, imagine if someone brought a plate of fajitas at a Mexican restaurant and they look good, they sound good, they smell good. It's triggering on all those senses.
Yeah.
How is a bass any different than like they see something, they can feel it, they smell it. The more senses you can put in your favor, in my opinion, I think the better odds that you have of catching that bass.
So are you hinting that you might have a glide bait coming out with like a scent trail?
I haven't got into that too deep, but from a lateral line perspective,
you know like those. I still have a 2-stroke, so every now and then you'll have a little bit of an oil trail. Yeah. Imagine you're sitting there,
it's just you got the line going back and forth,
like an oil trail behind it,
just sharking it. I'm sure it'd work. It's just I'm not that big on. I don't want the shop to really smell really bad. So maybe that's something we can look into in the future. But right now, it's like my employees would really complain if all of a sudden it just smelled like squid or shad in there all the time. So that's maybe something for the future. But
that's like me throwing out ideas to Bobby.
I'm
like, hey Bobby, we need something that'll float. He's like, man, they're gonna hate me if we're gonna do elastic. Well, they're gonna hate me. He's like, let's try to figure something else out. Like, okay, well, we're working on some stuff. So that's pretty cool. If you don't mind, I know, because I obviously I follow you, but like, to the viewers, if you kind of tell them where you started from, I don't know.
I'm trying to think how to really start that. I've been fishing all my life, and I've always been kind of a tinkerer, like more engineering side of the mind instead of like the artistic side. Like I've always been horrible at painting. Like art class in high school and stuff was horrible. I was never good at that, but I was really good at math and the science side of stuff, and kind of came from a CAD design background, and just kind of started. That's what I did for years as a profession before I got into really making baits. And like I said, always was kind of a tinker, loved bass fishing, loved the tournament side of things. And the weird thing about the tournaments was the harder I tried, the more I sucked. Like I tried really, really hard. I'd overanalyze everything. I'd study relentlessly. I'd do a ton of map study. I would study all the pro stuff, like all the YouTube videos, the Bass University stuff. I went down such deep rabbit holes and stuff that I didn't like. I consumed so much information and tried so hard at it, and just the harder I tried, the worse I did. It's so weird. And I mean, I guess looking at it from it now, knowing a bunch of guys that have had a lot of success with fishing, it seems like there's a point that you've got to get good, and then there's a point you got to like just back off, and you just got to be like so go with the flow with it. And like it's almost like this weird paradox in fishing where it's like the harder you try or the less you try, sometimes the better you do.
Yeah, so that's why they like the comment gets thrown around, I'm just gonna go fishing.
Yeah, exactly. People overcomplicate it, and but I got caught up in that. And like, well, the crazy thing about like sucking is like, okay, you sucked, well, I just got to try harder next time. Well, and then you fall into this loop where you just keep getting worse and worse and worse. And that's where I was at. It wasn't seamless, and it never really worked. Yeah. And then I started making baits, and I just kind of started going down it, and it was just effortless for me. Like I put in a ton of work. There was like a ton of nights where I like couldn't sleep at night because I was like, why is this bait doing this? Like I could not figure it out. And I just kept going down those rabbit holes and experimenting, trying different things, trying to make it work. And like slowly started getting better and better at it, but it became effortless for me, where I loved bait design. I loved figuring that stuff out, and I loved building different baits. So that's kind of how everything got started.
Yeah,
there.
and if you don't mind me asking, when did Clutch start? Like the Clutch
the
company.
first bait, the first drop we ever did was, I think it was 2021, October of 2021, I believe is what it was. So it's relatively new company.
Yeah, but quite a bit of success.
Yeah,
So
well, and
that's pretty cool because like from bait designing, you know, like working with other companies and stuff, like it takes years.
Oh yeah,
sometimes
for sure.
to develop a product.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like the tinkering, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
there's a lot of like to this day, you know, there's a bait that I really want, which should be coming out.
Yeah,
I've been tinkering. I'll get one aspect of it perfect, the other aspect messes up. You know what I mean? Like for example, like a buzzbait, right?
Yeah.
I'll get the squeal just perfect, right? And I'm like, okay, perfect. Now this son of a gun is doing
running
this,
a little sideways.
you know. And I'm like, oh come on, you know what I mean? And then I messed with the wire sizes, with the head sizes and everything, and then like I'll get it to run perfect. It's not plopping. Like, I know probably my mind, I'm overanalyzing, like overthinking it, but
that's how you make a really good product.
That's how my brain works.
Yeah, that's how you make the best products. Is like when you can, like, I mean, we were kind of talking before about, and we'll do a little teaser there, the soft bait. We'll give a little bit of flash there. But with that thing, there's been so much stuff that's been wrong with it. And it's just like, well, back to the drawing board here, back to the drawing board here. And that bait's going to end up, that bait's going to end up taking me like 2.5 years to finally get done and right. Yeah. And it's like, okay, I mean, I've been working at it really, really hard. So it's like to make a truly exceptional product, which I think that bait's going to be when it's finally done. Mm-hmm. To make a truly exceptional product, it takes a lot of time, a lot of trial, a lot of error.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, as you make more and more baits, like your learning curve is shortened because you've got all that experience. Like, okay, like every single bait we've come out with, I've always learned something that I've been able to double back and apply to everything else that we've created. Where it's like, I learned something. I learned, like the Eco, for example, we learned how to be a lot more efficient in our manufacturing processes. Okay. Like that. And I was able to take that back and apply that to the OG and apply that to the Darter. And basically it allowed them to kind of get a cosmetic facelift in the process. So it was like win-win from that perspective. Mm-hmm. Like Baby Boss taught me just how critical, like, the drag and the tail can be with a glide bait. Like it sounds super simple, but like how absolutely critical having all of that little tiny things makes a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, and like people, whenever they see the price tags on these glide baits, you know, they're like, oh, it's like $150, you know. And if you only knew all the like specifics that go into building one. Yeah. Like you said, how long did it take you to build the Boss? Or did the Baby Boss came first?
The regular, actually, there's always been a Baby Boss. The Big Boss came first. Actually, when I printed out the first proto, or like 3D printing prototype of the regular Boss, I had a Baby Boss right next to it. Okay. It's just the Baby Boss swam like crap. It did for the longest time. It just didn't swim good. It caught fish, but I didn't like it. And after the success we had with the Boss and like learning, I think so. It went OG, Darter, Boss, Eco, and it was after I got done with the Eco where I was just like, all right, I'm a much better bait builder than what I was back then. Let's revisit the Baby Boss and let's get it right. So I revisited it and just started going down that rabbit hole. And like, I mean,
so it was a few years.
Yeah.
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 It
took a long time, but like
again, it's a heck of a bait.
Oh yeah. It's in my mind, like that bait's perfect. It's been designed to death. And it was one of those ones where there were some people that didn't want us to come out with that for a couple more years just because they were catching them on it.
Oh yeah. Like your pro staff.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't really have a pro staff, but like the guys that I keep really close and that do a lot of testing for me, those guys wanted me to keep it secret because they were winning some good money on it. And it was just like, do you have to release this yet? I'm like, I want it to be done. I wanted closure on that baits design process.
Yeah. But then see, like you get the Boss done and then now you could focus on another one. Now.
Oh yeah.
But don't, okay. So just, I don't know, just, this is a tinkering part of me, you know, like say you have a really good product like the Boss, right? Do you still tinker with it?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
like you try to make it perfect, don't
Oh
you?
yeah, like the darter's been through like since we've released it, it's been through like 5 or 6 different iterations.
Dang.
Yeah, like I said, literally every time we come out with a bait, I revisit everything. I look through everything and I'm like, all right, how can I break this?
And that's what makes it freaking good.
Yeah, and I mean, there's been a lot of times where I'll try to make it better and I can't. It's like, okay, well, it's good, but like, I will try to break it. I will try to really mess it up just to see if I can get it to do this thing better, or if I can get it to do that thing better, and then apply it back to everything else. So it's like, it's always a continual improvement of everything. Because
so like, I don't know. I'm like jumping around back and
no,
forth.
you're good,
guys. I don't have a script. I don't have a script. I don't have an outline. We're just winging it.
Yeah, but
with the soft baits, back to that. I don't know how much you can talk about them yet or whatnot. You obviously you've tested them.
Yeah,
you know you've thrown them. How many over 5 have you caught on them?
Over 5, we don't really have that tally. We've got the tally over 8, and that's around 13 pounds, or not 13 pounds. 13 fish over 8 pounds, and that's in like 5 guys' hands right now.
Dang.
So it's caught a lot of big ones. And the big thing, like the crazy thing with this bait is like the thing we've really had to test, and luckily we're finally like testing this, is like we needed it to catch fish less than 3 pounds,
and it's not doing it.
Well, no, it is now, but we had to like make sure that it could, because like there's some swim baits on the market, like we'll throw it out there, like the 6 Cents Hangover.
Yeah,
it's really good at catching like 7 pluses. Because like it's a harder plastic, like that fish has got to have a big mouth in order to get that fish in that or that bait in its mouth. But like we live in the Ozarks, like we don't have 8-pounders, like common.
Not common, not common.
Yeah,
those are, you catch an 8-pounder, you're a celebrity.
Yeah, exactly. But like in tournaments and stuff, that bait you're throwing has to be able to catch 2 to 3 pounders.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we were kind of looking at, where it's like, all right, how do we design a bait that still gets those big fish to bite, but also you catch those smaller ones as well, and you're not just like, because you have to have confidence in it for a tournament. Like you can't.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. I for the longest time was really reluctant to throw a glide bait in a tournament because like I'm so used to throwing a jig or throwing, like now that I'm throwing the minnows. That's another thing. Like during this last OMCT, a perfect example. I don't even know how many guys I seen. There's a bunch of people out there. Yeah. Okay, and they've hit. There was a brush pile bite, and I've seen so many people throw like one of those, like a brush hog or a worm or even a minnow over the brush piles, right? Yep. And we literally pulled up behind a guy. I threw the OG. Right over, and I freaking nailed like a 4.5 right out of a brush pile, and then a 2-something smallmouth. Yeah. I'm gonna be posting here pretty soon. That smallmouth was the first smallmouth I caught on a glide bait.
Nice. They get aggressive on it.
I know,
really aggressive on it.
Mike, I don't understand that glide bait. There's no way it's gonna fit in his mouth. Absolutely no way. It's like, what were you thinking? Okay, I understand a largemouth. Okay, they got a big freaking mouth. They could swallow one of those. Yeah. But a smallmouth. Yeah. Like, okay, I understand hitting the eco, right? But this sucker hit an OG. Yeah.
I guess, all right. For example, I caught a non-keeper today on the Boss.
Non-keeper.
Yeah. He was like 12 inches long, like literally that, hitting the thing. Literally that much longer than the bait. It was like, all right, that's cool.
No way. That is nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That was wild.
For me, the craziest thing, I mean, if you could kind of talk about it, whenever I'm throwing, it doesn't matter which one. Yeah. And I get that big one to follow. Like like 6+. Yeah. And I see that shadow and I'm doing everything. I'm speeding up, like you're supposed to. Yeah. Like I've seen this happen with guys in my boat. They'll see that big fish.
They freeze.
They'll just freeze. I'm like, no, guys.
Keep it coming.
I'm like, you got to remember. Like you said this, I don't even know how many times in your post.
Yeah.
There is not a single prey in the lake that'll freeze.
Or freeze or turn around.
Yeah. They're dipping.
Yeah.
I mean, I
They're
think
trying to get out of there as fast as they can.
Yeah, you got somebody coming after you. You're leaving.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're booking it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Same thing with those things. And so many times I watched my brother do it. He had one come up really close, and he got right to the boat. He had probably a foot of line in the water, and he just figure eighted because he just kept going. You know, and when he figure eighted, he even sped up.
Yeah.
And he nailed them.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him do that. And I started doing that myself now. But like, what do you do to, like, I could catch those up to like 6 pounds. Yeah. They'll eat it. They're not as smart as those.
Are you talking of figure eighting, or are you just talking converting followers?
Converting followers. Like you get those like the under 6. Yeah. They'll eat most of the time anywhere during their retrieve. But like those 7s, 8s, 9s, they're so hard to freaking commit.
I think there's a lot of, or there's always going to be a portion of fish that you just can't get.
True. That's what LiveScope showed us that.
Yeah, there's just always going to be a certain percentage of fish where it's just like, that's not, they're just not going to bite. Yeah. But yeah, man, speed's probably the biggest thing in my mind when it comes to converting a follower. Is like, you got to get them fired up. And if they're just kind of coming up after a blimp, like I've messed with it. I still don't know if I really like this like approach or not, but I kind of like matching their energy, if that makes sense. Like if they come up after it hot, I want to get really hot on it. Okay. If they're coming after it like super, super slow, I'll try to just kind of slow and bump it around. Now, I haven't proven that, and like I don't even know if I believe that myself, but that's like where I'm that's what I'm messing with right now.
Like you mentioned that. I actually did that this past winter. Yeah. I got some little motion minnows. Yeah. They're gonna hit the market in February, October, I believe.
Motion fishing?
Yeah. Yeah. The little minnows. Not the big ones are already available, but the little 3.25s.
Yeah.
We're gonna
I know what you're talking about.
I've been playing with those, and that's the bait, like you mentioned. I kinda wanna keep it to myself for one more year. But
that's a shout out to Bobby Roberts for that one.
Oh yeah. That's a nice one. But like to go back to what you mentioned is matching their energy. Yeah. I do that on scope a lot. And what I will do in particular, I'll have 3 spinning rods on, and I'll have a 1/8 ounce, 3/16, and a quarter. That's usually what I throw, you know. And if I usually throw a quarter 99% of the time. Yeah, I'll throw it out there, and if they're barely like just kind of barely fall, I'll reel out as fast as I can, pick up an 1/8 and throw it out. Yeah, and then I'll just freaking drag it over their face like slow.
Are you talking the same size minnows as well, or are you talking varying sizes?
Same size, same color, same everything.
So when do you go to a bigger size or smaller size?
Bigger size, I go usually about April. Yeah,
once more time at the year base.
Yeah, it's once your water temp starts creeping till the 60s, I'll go to like the 4s. Right now, I'm throwing the 5s.
I was gonna say like I'll be throwing like that 70, like low 70 range is when they start like getting on that like.
That's why I was I was so bummed out when the bosses dropped and I missed out. I wanted one, so that's my next one that I want. Bad.
It's been catching a lot.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's the thing. Like I've noticed that with the minnows too. Like right now, I'm throwing the 3.25s and the 4. Yep. And I'm getting bit. Don't get me wrong, but once I go to the 5s and the 6s, the bigger ones, I'll get bigger fish. They'll eat it, and small ones will too. But like I'm getting more of the quality fish. And I started experimenting that with the jigs. Like now, instead of just throwing, the clutch craw on the jig, I'll go to the Hogzilla and the big Hogzilla sometimes. Shoot, probably shouldn't have said that, but yeah.
Bobby will be fine.
Bobby be happy for that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, and I've caught some, like, I've noticed the bigger the meat on the bait right now, the bigger the fish you potentially catch.
See, me and Brock Beela were fishing this morning, and we actually had this kind of like thought, and don't know if there's too much merit to it or not, but it seems like as that water temperature gets warmer, that fish's metabolism's getting faster. Yeah. So it's like they've got to eat more in order to keep up with that like homeostasis, like center point. So it's like maybe it's like, okay, as that water starts, and obviously there's a breaking point there where it changes, but as it's warming up in the spring and getting into the summertime, the warmer the water, the bigger the fish that they got to eat just to kind of maintain
the more calories, maybe.
Yeah, they got to get more calories in them because they're just burning a lot.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably
it's a theory.
There's probably a lot of truth to that, because like I've noticed that, and I've like this year, I don't remember hearing it from nobody. Like it's kind of one of those things that you kind of experimented.
Yeah,
because I got a few different baits, and yeah, I was just playing around one day, and it was April.
Yeah.
I was just playing around, and I was throwing that little guys, like, just little 3, 2.5, 3, 4-inch baits. And I'm just tearing them.
Yeah.
Tearing them. And then but the bigger blobs wouldn't turn. They wouldn't turn. They wouldn't budge, nothing, until I threw a big one.
Yeah.
And then I threw a bigger minnow, and now I figured out how to scope with a glide bait.
It's addicting. It's really addicting.
I will throw a glide bait over a minnow right now.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's so much fun. You'll get that giant. Like it makes your glide bait look freaking like a speck.
And it's such an aggressive bite. They literally feel like they're trying to rip the rod out of your hand. It's scoping with a glide is just,
and that's what I like.
There's nothing like it.
Right now I'm playing with like if you guys go to Josh's Instagram, the Clutch
Swimbait Co. Yep.
Yeah. You go on there, and he shows so many tricks, so many different tinkering points on these glide baits, and that's where I got the weighting down, the proportionate weight down. Not a lot of you guys, I know that I had some guys reach out to me. They're like, "How do you sink your glide baits?"
Yeah,
and I'm like, they're like, "I put so much weight on it, so much weight." I'm like, "Which hook?" The front one. I'm like, don't forget the back one.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't. Because if you want to talk about it, because like right now, there's times where I will sink a glide bait, 15 foot.
Yeah.
15, 20, even sometimes over brush piles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to get them to swim right, guys, there's water pressure difference down there.
Yeah, for sure.
So
and water temperatures affect the bait's rate of fall drastically too.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about like the right way to weigh them down.
So we'll hit as many highlights as we can here. We also just filmed yesterday a YouTube video about how to properly like super tune these baits. So it's like, all right, so this is what you want to look for in order to get it down a little bit deeper.
Where can they see this?
This will be on the Clutch YouTube page.
Okay.
So properly weighting it down, we've got tuning in there where it's like, all right, if it's doing this, do this to it. If it's doing this, do this to it. Like a foolproof method to be like, all right, this is how to get your bait to act the absolute best in the water. But yeah, so weighting, do you guys sell this at Modern Outdoor Tackle? Lead wire?
Some of them, yeah.
Some of them? Okay. So this is the .030. I don't know if that's millimeter or inches or what.
I don't know. I usually use the thicker one. I don't know. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
This is the thickest that the place that I stopped at had. So yeah, this is what I use. I order on, you could get it on Amazon too. I get the 6 cents one. Gotcha.
What's his name? Pro. I forgot. Ben Milliken. Yeah. With the 6 cents, he has that thick. Like, thick. So you don't need a lot.
Yeah.
So you can play with that.
You can do as neat or as messy as you want, but you're basically, I'm just hooking myself here.
If you want to hold it over there you go.
Right there.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're just kind of starting it there. And obviously like this little bit of wire isn't going to be enough here, but you're just kind of slowly start going down it. And usually what I'll do is I'll kind of, after I get a couple on there, I'll fix it, make it look nice, wrap the starter end around it, and then I'll push it all the way up to start and then just keep going down. I'm sure there's a bunch of really fun. You're hearing the bait rattle into the mic and everything.
Oh, that's fine. Like, see, that's a little different than what I do. Like I will put a little bit into the eye of the hook and a little down the shaft, and then I'll wrap it around the tag end, basically.
Yeah.
That's clean.
Yeah. And I mean...
And it doesn't affect the hookup.
Not really, unless you get a lot on there.
Yeah.
But it's just like...
Even now, thanks to Josh, guys.
I was got a lot more on it.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you right now, the Josh doesn't cheap out on the hooks.
No.
He don't. And as many of you know, as hardcore fishermen know, most of them, if you buy a hard bait in a plastic, any plastic hard bait, you get everybody change out your hooks for the most part.
Yeah.
This, you don't have to.
These are BKK Spear 21s on OGs, darters, bosses, baby bosses. On the Ecos, we've got a custom made BKK hook on there. So it's a BKK, just a short shank size 2. I've tried to get them to allow us to sell those, but they will not let us for some reason. So it's basically kind of any. I mean, I love this hook that's on there.
It's still a really good hook. Yeah. I don't change them out. Sometimes if I'm getting like a lot of short strikes, or they're kind of like being like just slapping at it or something, I will put a quad on. Yeah, but that's it. Other than that, I use them straight out of the pack.
Yeah, I used to use quads a lot until I started using the Spear 21s, and now
they're good.
Yeah,
and don't your glide baits also come with swivels? Like the hook actually swivels.
Yeah, every bait's got a rotating hook hanger on it. It's just one less potential area of like that if
less leverage for the fish.
Exactly. Yeah. There's less leverage on it, and I mean, I've had people say they look small, and I've never heard once of one of those breaking.
They don't.
Like I throw the messed up baits out of the group. Like if we mess something up, those are my baits. I've had that swivel like hanging out of the bait like almost all the way where it's like, I don't know about that. And I boat flipped a 7 1/4 with it doing that. Just had it by the back hook. Those things are in there and they will not fail.
That's awesome, man. That's right. No, and them's hook, the swivel hook hangers. Yeah, that's a big thing. It really is. I like I said, I've thrown baits where they're stationary. Yeah, and whenever I'd switch to the quad hooks, the quad hook swivels, and I'd lose less fish. Yeah, I mean, guys, it doesn't matter what brand you're gonna throw, you're still gonna lose fish on glide baits sometimes.
Yeah. There's definitely ways to put the odds in your favor more.
Yeah. Like if you want to talk about those.
But yeah, the rotating hook hangers is a big thing. Another thing is you've got to be a bully with these things, with these fish.
I heard you say that.
You've got to be a bully. Like if you let them play out and stuff, like you lose a lot. Like a lot. Like if you turn them, so like if you bring him up next to the boat and like you're not gonna boat flip him, and you like double your rod back, like basically like going that figure 8 motion next to the boat, you will lose so many fish in that one motion right there because you're just popping that weight the other way and just ripping the hooks out.
Yeah, and these don't weigh 1/4 of an ounce. These are big baits.
Big. It's heavy. Like if And those big fish are smart. They know how to use leverage. They like, okay, this feels like it's kind of working its way out. They can get hooks out of their mouths. And it's just, once you hook up with them, it's just grind. And if your buddy's not there with the net, just boat flip.
Okay. So you have a lineup. I'm looking at the table. Yeah. You guys can't really see it, but he's got a boss, a baby boss, a darter, and an eco. If you would go through the 4 of those and like, what kind of setup do you use? Like rod and line? Yeah.
And we can kind of classify the OG in with the baby boss and the boss. So the rods I use, and I know they don't really work with retail at all. I use Alpha Angler. Love those rods.
Like, isn't that what Polinick uses?
Yep, Polinick's, yep. But the darter and the eco, and I mean, the OG and Baby Boss can kind of use it as well as the normal Alpha Angler wide glide. It's like a 7.9 heavy. It's really an interesting like bend to it because like it's when working it and like doing short little casts, it's very tippy. But like when you're making bomb casts or like you're fighting a fish, it bends really, really deep and powerfully into the blank. Like that rod's, it's wild how it works.
How important is that bend though?
I know,
but like, if you tell the viewers like.
It's basically like if you're throwing and I guess let me back up here. I almost think that I try to tailor my rod more around my hook than I do my bait. Like the rod, it's just got to cast it basically. But like the same rod that can cast this. Yeah. And it's like, well, if you're using a rod that's too stiff, like like even this, if you're throwing like your normal flipping stick on it, which I mean that's usually rated for like 2 ounces or so, and this is 1.5 ounces. You're like, oh, perfect. Well, it doesn't have that bend to it, so you're just pulling those hooks out. So that little bit deeper bend allows you to just catch more fish.
I actually went and bought a rod specifically for the Eco.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I throw. And like for me, I've lost, and I mean I got lazy and not retie, so that's on me.
It happens.
But like I've lost a few with like 17 and 18-pound line. So I throw minimum 20. 20, but the rod that I bought is a 7.4, medium heavy, but it's not your like standard medium heavy like what you do for like a jig.
Yeah,
it's pretty. It's got a good bend. It's like a moderate.
Yeah,
so it will bend to like 3/4.
Kind of in between a jig rod and like a chatterbait rod.
Yeah.
In between there.
Yeah, I threw a chatterbait on it. It doesn't. It's not that good for a chatterbait or a spinnerbait, you know. And I tried it for a buzzbait, but
what rod is that?
It's a Phoenix. I don't remember the model. Sorry, guys. I really don't. But
we'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's Recon, I think.
Recon.
Yeah, I think it's a Recon. Yeah, I bought one of those, and yeah, it's a really good bend. It's for the price.
Yeah,
it's like if you guys are looking to start out with a good rod, that's a good one.
Yeah,
and we should be stocking them soon.
Good
in modern, so
nice.
You guys can check it out. Just talk to Matt. He'll point you in the right direction. He knows what I use.
And yeah, that's like we've kind of gone through some. We did a whole thing on setups and everything, and the big thing was like it seems like with rods, everyone's got their favorite brand, and it's like, well, how do you choose the right bait or the right rod for that bait based off your brand preferences?
Hey, not every brand will have the perfect rod. So guys, don't be stubborn and actually venture out, because that's what I did. Like that one in my spinning rods are the only 2 Phoenixes I have.
Yeah,
I'm not affiliated with them.
Yeah,
nothing, but they're good rods for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, remember that. You guys can have, like my brothers, they have whatever fits them. It's a whole nother, they like their Akumas.
Yeah,
they freaking love them. They're good rods.
Yeah,
but once you get into your swim baiting, they're too stiff.
Yep,
you know absolutely. What I mean? That's and I've watched fish get lost, and I know that. And again, for my glide bait rod, I use a 13 for the big glide baits.
Yeah.
Like my 9 inches. Freaking
and like
6
a 13
ounce.
Omen or something. Yeah.
It's
cool rods.
And it's an 8-footer, freaking moderate heavy. Like it's a broomstick, but whenever you're throwing, like it's still limber enough.
Yeah.
To where when you hook one, they don't throw it that often, but it happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
It still happens. So many times you'll get one. You're throwing them big glide baits like the 9s and 10s.
Yeah.
You're throwing it out there, and then you get one hooked, and you watch it come up. You see that face going to it. It's like a 5-pounder. The fish goes this way, the glide bait goes this way, and you're like, oh, that's a big. That was one of mine. Whenever my first glide bait that I bought was a 9-inch.
Yeah.
Like the person that sold it to me, they're like, if you want to start and get some confidence, do a big one.
Yeah.
Like you will get a lot of followers.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like the bigger the bait,
that's a big thing where it's just like everyone wants to start with a little 3.5-inch glide bait, and they're like, "No, I'm throwing swim baits," and it's like,
no, you're not.
I catch a lot of heat for it, but I'm like, anything like smaller than 6 inches, there's a better tool for that. Like you don't have the drawing power. You
know how much more fish followed and ate the OG.
Yeah.
Like okay, let me rephrase. Bigger fish.
Yeah.
Like this. Your 3 to 5s.
Yeah.
You throw the Eco, you're gonna freaking enjoy yourself. Even like 1-2 pounders. I've caught plenty that are barely bigger than the Eco.
Mm-hmm.
It's stupid. You're like looking at like
absolutely.
That hook don't even fit. You hook them in the side.
Yeah.
It's
crazy how
he
that
come
works.
after it, and I don't understand. I really don't. I can't explain that part.
Fish don't have mirrors. They don't know how big they are.
I mean, that's well put. Yeah. But no, like when I started with the 9-inch.
Yeah.
I threw that 9-inch, and boy, did I get tired because I was throwing it on a freaking deep diver.
Yeah,
deep diver setup, and it's the wrong setup, and you throw it for like 2 hours, and you're like, fudge, man.
Yeah. The smaller, you don't have to have like a dedicated setup for it. Like when you start getting into that 3, 4, 5 ounces, like you need to have a dedicated.
And then I was talking to Matt's like, dude, you got to get a good rod, man. So that's whenever that 13 fishing one that I got. And another thing, guys, I'm going to give out one of my little secrets.
All right, let's hear it.
But go with a faster reel.
100%.
Because, how many times you watch these videos, they're like, you got to have like a 5.3 to 1. You're going to wear yourself out. Yeah. Not only that, is you will not be, it's going to be so much harder to get that swim bait to swim right.
Yeah. Like all those videos about the super slow stuff, that's like all super old, more old school style swim baits where it's like the tail only bends just a little bit and that thing goes super, super wide. If you get really aggressive with it, it doesn't look good. It's just that nice, slow, steady reel, maybe a couple bumps every now and then, and it's just getting nice and wide. That's what
your California style.
Yeah, the old school stuff. That's where like that 5.3 to 1, like big old reels really started. And as like glide baits and stuff become a lot more like prevalent in like the tournament scene and like the more casual fishermen, like the choppy stuff's become a lot more aggressive or a lot more popular because you do catch a lot of fish on it. And it's one of those things where it's like, that's what worked back then doesn't necessarily the best setup for right now. And
whenever I went, we're about to wrap up here.
No, it's all good. My phone was blowing up. We're good.
You're good. We're about to run out of battery life here pretty soon. So
has it already been like 45 minutes? That's crazy.
It's been an hour.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That flew by.
It's pretty quick, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like back, I'm telling you, man, I'm a talker. Like you just give me. I tell this,
especially about swim baits. Like you just.
And the thing is,
to talk about.
I am addicted to them right now.
Oh yeah.
Like it's probably. I don't know, 100% of the time. And I'm not even, I was going to say like 98, 90, no, 100% of the time, I have a glide bait on my deck.
Yeah.
It couldn't be 30 degrees outside.
Oh, yeah.
It could be 110. There's a glide bait on my deck.
100%.
And there's, for the most part, there is like certain conditions it works better.
Oh, yeah.
But you could always catch one on it.
Yeah.
And like, the thing is, like, I had the plot. Sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're good. You're good.
But like, I had Luke here.
Yeah.
And me and Luke were talking about it, and I'm like, man, like, it's so specific to like weather conditions and like timing. And he like looks at me. He's like, I think you're overthinking it. And I'm just like, okay, you know what? Like he said that, and I'm one that like if I catch a little whiff of like a little, I don't know. Like I can't, not really info, but like someone like a tip or something, you know, I am gonna go try it like right then.
Yeah, for sure.
And for the next couple days after that, I was like, you know, a bluebird sky, not a freaking wave, nothing. The leaves don't even move.
Yeah,
I'm throwing a glide bait and I catch 3 in a row. I'm like, what on earth? I'm like, hold on, Luke was right. Luke was right. And then I was like, raining, freaking blowing. I'm catching them. I'm like, all right. Okay. Thanks, Luke.
The way I like to think about it is like, I don't, it's like luck. The more times you put yourself in position to get lucky, the more times that you're going to get lucky. So like, if you were to play,
kind of elaborate on that.
Yeah. So if scratch offs are a really bad example, but this is immediately where I go. So like, if you buy one scratch off ticket, you're not super likely to win $10.
True.
But if you buy 10 of them, you're a little bit more likely to do it. So like the more times that like, all right, like I'm on a back floats at docks jig bite where you're just skipping up there and you're catching 3-pounders. Well, throughout that day, I'll start like sampling different glide bait stuff where I'll spend like, okay, I'll take 5 minutes out of my day to run down this like bluff end and see if I can catch a giant. Well, if you do that several times, like you're not going to catch that 6-7 pounder doing that unless you put yourself in position to do that. So like you've got to put yourself in position to get lucky in order to get lucky. So I use the glide bait a lot of the time as just a am I lucky today tool, where it's like, look, this is a really high percentage spot where there's a really good chance that there's really big fish. And like we all know, like big fish are a lot of the time it's a timing deal.
Yeah.
And like, okay, how do you plan out your timing thing? It's like a lot of times you can't.
No.
So it's like, all right, well, let's see if I can go from 15 pounds to 18 pounds and just hit a couple of those. Like, well, that didn't work. I'm going to keep going back to this. Because like if they're biting the glide that day, you don't want to miss it. And like if you pull up to 2-3 bluff ends and you're like, oh, I caught like 3, 4, 5, 6 pounders. You're like, probably should run more of that.
Yeah.
So it's like I use it as luck until they prove to me like, hey, we're on this.
Yeah. And the thing is, like during the last AIA we fished, I threw a glide basically all day.
Yeah.
Like I threw a glide because the one before that we had 3 keepers, like 3 key keepers on a glide, and it was one of them was on the eco.
Yeah. Nice.
That was I made the longest cast, and that's before I put the thing on my Phoenix.
Yeah.
I was throwing on a Dobbin 7.3. That I bombed it, dude. Like I'm talking, I about spooled myself, bombed it.
Yeah.
And on that long cast, and the thing is, my brother was throwing like a 9-inch, and then I probably cast, I don't know, 15 foot behind him.
Yeah.
And I think I picked one of his followers off.
Yeah.
I honestly think, because I literally, like, if you look down the line, it was right behind him, like right behind him. And I like, it wasn't like 3-4 cranks in.
Yeah.
Boom. And it's like a 2-pounder, but still, like, and I'm like thinking in my head, it's replaying that what you said, bully them. I'm just grinding with the 8-3 to 1 gear ratio. I'm grinding. It sucks.
Oh yeah.
You know, with the slower the gear ratio, the easier to bully the dog.
Yeah.
You know, but with the 8-3, he ain't going.
Yeah, you kind of lock up on that a little bit.
He ain't going nowhere. He has absolutely. He didn't even get to jump.
Yeah.
Like I scooted him in.
Yeah.
And we got him in pretty quick. And I was like, okay, cool. And then this last AIA, I threw the glide the day before for our practice day.
Yeah.
And I had 3 key, like good ones.
Yeah.
And then come tournament day, I did not get a follow. Nothing. I'm throwing this same areas. And I'm like, this is stupid.
It happens.
The day before, I was tearing them on the glide in the mag draft. Just tearing them.
Yeah.
I'm like, we got this one, you know? Nope. It got one on what? I can't remember what it was. Was it on a jig? No.
Last day
on a shaky head.
Doesn't surprise me.
I remember it was on the shaky head because like my brother's a really big jig and shaky head guy.
Yeah.
And he's like, man, I should have been throwing that. I'm like,
that's the game.
Sucks for us now.
It's the game. Sometimes they're on it, sometimes they're not.
Yeah. And it like you said, it's a timing deal.
Yep.
It's a big, like, I believe it 100%. It's a timing deal. And like, you could go, and especially for big fish, I've noticed this. You will go all day throwing that glide bait. It don't matter what size. I mean, it does. The bigger, the better, obviously. But you'll go all day catching 2s and 3s all day long. And then you'll get that 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, 6 pounders, another 5. You're like, where are these coming from?
The problem is you don't know what 45 minutes that is. If you did, that'd be great. But that's never know.
And once somebody figures it out,
Yeah.
what it is, like what drives that 45 minutes,
Yeah.
that's going to be a dominating angler.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing is sometimes it doesn't happen.
It don't. Yeah. Like
sometimes
that
it just
one.
doesn't.
Like that one, I went all day without catching a single, not even a follower.
Yep.
And that's the other thing. Like I'll throw, whenever I'm throwing glide baits, I'll start out the day, I'll just throw it for like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, just throwing it. And if I get a follow, that's all I need. If I get a follow, I can get him to take a bit.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, I will catch him.
Yeah.
But if I can do not even like a little dink won't follow it, I'll put it down.
Yeah. It's a really fun bait to throw, but you can't die with it. You just can't. Like you can't like, like especially if you're going for points or something like, or like, I mean, if you're okay with skunking, for the day, like throw it all day.
Like if you're in the jackpot tournament,
yeah,
by all means.
Oh yeah,
by all means. But if you're like in a qualifying tournament,
yeah, you gotta.
I mean,
sometimes you gotta pick some other stuff up.
Hey, if we didn't break off that OG, I would have kept throwing it because we were getting hit on it.
Yeah,
we cool. were, and I had a weight, dude. I played with those weights on that thing, like you said in the live. Will like your video instruction, and I played with it, and I played with it, and dude, it took me like an hour.
Yeah,
like, but again, I am that nitpicking kind of person, so if it ain't perfect, I'm not gonna throw it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So like, I played with the weights, and I had the belly weight in there, and like the hooks were weighted. That thing sank like a rock. It sank fast, but the thing is, I was able to work it fast.
Yeah. If it sinks really, really fast, it's just like, well, don't pause it much.
Yeah, no. There was no pausing. Like once I started my cadence, there was no pausing at all. I would even pause it. Like if the fish was started to follow, I wouldn't pause it. Yeah, I just sped it up, and I've caught multiple over 3. Yeah, multiple, and like we would have done a lot better, but we broke it off, and it kind of sucks.
It's crazy. Like I feel like there's been times where it's. And part of it's me being too lazy to change, where it's like, all right, we've been scoping with the boss or something. And it's like, all right, we're going to run up shallow, hit a couple points. It's like, I'll just work it fast. And it's like, you're fishing a bait that's weighted to fish like 15 to 20 in like 2-3 foot of water. And you're humming it. Like there's no pause. It's just boom, 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 boom.
That's the thing. Once, like a lot of the times, once I get my glide baits weighted perfectly, I'll leave it. I don't care if I'm fishing 10 inches of water or I'm fishing 30 feet. Yep. It's gonna be the same thing, and like you said, I'm booking it. Yeah, he's coming in hot, and if that bass hits, he's gonna get hooked. That thing's moving. Absolutely. So, but yeah, Josh, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Oh, one thing. What's gonna be the name of the swim bait? The soft belt.
It's a little bit TBD on this one. Okay. We're not quite sure yet. We've got some ideas, but yeah. Cool. And it's probably a little ways from coming out. We got a couple other things that'll probably come out before it, but
is there anything you want to talk about, or that's kind of one of those is just wait and see.
Wait and see. There's going to be some stuff that's a little bit more regional specific, maybe not necessarily for around here. Like we'll kind of go because one guy that'll work with pretty close is Justin Kimmel. He works with us, and he's Herring Lakes is big for him. And we've kind of got some herring stuff coming out. That's
nice. So
you're legit.
Hot wells and stuff.
Yeah. Like it's a deal for out. I'm actually flying out there on Friday we're gonna film and do some stuff with it.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, we've always got tons of prototypes in the wings that are getting ready. And once you start seeing stuff posted on social media, it means like that bait's
getting ready.
It's getting there. And I mean, we've been sitting on one bait in particular for about 2 years. Like it's been done for 2 years. It's kind of niche, and it's. I really, really like it. It's one of those. It's almost like its own completely brand new category. There's nothing really like it out there, and so the education side of it's going to be a challenge. Like there's going to be people that love it, and then there's going to be people that absolutely hate it. Okay, and it's fair. Yeah, and we've been trying to find a time to come out with it because like we can only make so many baits, and we've been backed up for a while. So we finally got a new shop. We're gonna be able to bring in double the staff, and we'll actually be able to handle the production of it. So
nice.
Hopefully in the next, I really don't want to drop it in the fall, but maybe we will.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I think if we could get those soft bellies by the fall.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. That's a little tight of a time frame.
I know, but those are, oh my goodness, those guys. I got to feel one.
Yeah, it's legit.
It's gonna be some.
It's legit.
It's gonna be something.
But I mean, even that, like, there's been the amount of aluminum molds I have of that, where it's like, this didn't work. Throw this, not throw it away, but like I've just got stacks of aluminum molds where it's like, this one was just a little bit off here, this one was a little bit off here, and it's like
this is why they cost so much, guys. Because the whole process of making one of these, like, I don't know. If I were to guess, just guess, from the moment you have the idea, to the moment the bait drops, you've spent thousands of dollars.
Oh yeah. Like
thousands.
this soft bait, I think, is already like just in molds is like $8,000 to $9,000, and we don't even have a production mold yet.
Yeah, and then by the time like the first few drops,
yeah,
they won't even pay off the.
No, yeah, for sure.
So like,
no, I'm designing these because I want this for myself. Like that's what it boils down to. Is I see a bite where I want to catch them this way, and we're making it come hell or high water. We're gonna make this bait that's perfect for this situation.
So quick question.
Yeah.
About this, will it be able to skip well?
Oh yeah. I've
like without the hook coming out.
Yeah. And I can't get into the weeds too much there.
No, you don't have to.
These ones don't have it, but we're figuring out a process in order to do that. It's not like this bait will not come out until that's figured out.
No, that's totally understandable. I'm just because I mean, most of you probably caught on what I'm trying to ask, but but like there's baits out there that like they'll skip well, but the hook comes out and it wraps around the front, and you're like, come on, like such a perfect. You'll get right between them pontoon little. It's like this above the water, and you just perfectly like bomb it all the way to the back, and it's fouled. And it's wrapped around the freaking front, and you're like reeling it back. You're like, wait, why isn't it? There's that wiggle's wrong, and you reel it out, and you're like, of course. No, yeah, there's definitely some stuff about it, like, and it's not perfect right now. No,
but like we're able to kind of get like a feel for the bait, like because the overall like substance of the bait's there. It's just we got to figure out a couple things. Like right now, it's not super durable. We got to figure that out. We've got it figured out. It's just the process in order to get it to that is not something we can do in-house really easy.
Yeah. So
we have to start working with manufacturers in order to get it fine-tuned, and then all of that kind of come together at once. Yeah. So like but the big thing is I want to make sure it's from a catching perspective perfect before we get to that manufacturing stage. So like it's not something that we're going to be able to produce in-house. It's something we're going to have to do not collaboration. It's something we're going to have to do outside of the in-house clutch production in order to get that bait to be optimally what it needs to be. So
yeah, I for one I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
I can't wait to get my hands on it. I don't know how, but I want.
Yeah,
I want to get my hands on one of those. Those they look awesome. They feel great.
Yeah.
Like Josh said, there's probably stuff he's trying to, but Josh is a perfectionist, so it works. I guarantee you, it probably works. It's just there's something that's a
little off about
the
swim is not, I would say, off. There's other little things about it that are just a little off, and it's just like got to get it right.
Yeah, no, and that's what you guys can appreciate about those clutch swim baits. They right out of the pack, you don't have to do anything, absolutely nothing. If you're a hardcore swim bait fisherman, you know what to do. Yeah. There's no explanation needed. But if you're a beginner, get yourself probably, I would say, like in my opinion, get an OG.
Go a little bit bigger than the Eco.
Yeah. I would, like, if I were to recommend anybody to starting out,
OG.
Eco is one that's like, yeah, you could. My kid throws an Eco.
Yeah.
And he's 9.
Yeah.
He's good with it.
Yeah. Catches it.
He's good with it.
That's awesome.
I'm just saying, but with the OG, you'll still catch your average swim bait fish, like your 3 pounders.
Yeah.
You'll still catch them, but you have a really good chance to catch
a big one.
Like a big one. Like you're one of your bigger fish out of the lake, like relative to your lake, obviously.
Yeah.
Like our lake that we have here, Table Rock, you catch a 7. That's a giant.
That's a big one.
That's a giant.
Big
you
one.
catch a 7 on Lake Fork, they're like, that's cute.
Look at this rat.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't think I'd ever call a 7-pounder a rat, but yeah.
It's like, cool story. And check this 13. It's like,
it's crazy.
That's one goal of mine this year is
catch a 13.
Myself and my boy are probably gonna head to either OHIV or Lake Fork.
So yeah,
and we're gonna and that's the thing. Like whenever we go, like me and my boy, and we're fun fishing. Our fun fishing is still competitive, but
yeah.
Like we will go like, all right, today we could only use this bait.
Yeah.
And that we do that. Like a couple times ago, I was like, all right, today we're only using glide baits.
Yep.
He's like, can I use your OG? I'm like, you wish.
You wish.
But you could use the eco.
Or not the darter. The darter. Let's go.
No, we're not. No, we're not giving him the darter either. Yeah, the eco. And you know what's funny though? He outfished me. Like fish,
Really?
Not quality,
Quantity.
Quantity wise.
Yep.
He outfished me like 4-1.
Yeah.
And I was like, how? I mean, obviously, I taught him the canyons, you know, but
just
like
a little bit smaller,
something little different.
Yeah.
And they just come out and just. I mean, we were fishing in the Table Rock's flooded, so we're fishing the fronts of bushes, and it's so cool to watch him just wake out of there and just boom. They don't hold back.
No,
they do not hold back. That OG, they were holding back.
Yeah.
They're just kind of watching it.
A little big.
Yeah, but like the bigger fish, they didn't. They just come up and smoke it. But like your 1 and 2s, they were like, that's kind of like out of our size range, maybe. You know, I don't know. I'm not a fish.
There's a lot of questions that we'll never have answered.
Yeah. But yeah, he outfished me 4-1. And see, that's the thing. Like whenever we go, we're planning on going to either OHIV or Lake Fork. And
both of them are so much fun.
Have you fished both of them?
I have. Yeah.
What's your biggest?
Biggest. Well, the biggest fish I've ever caught was in a back rack in Mexico. It was a 9.3. Yeah. Like I had a crazy stretch this fall where it was like, so early December, we went down to Backrack, and then I was at Rayburn for a couple of days, and I think I had like 10 or 11 fish over 8 pounds in that stretch.
Is that the whiteboard that you guys were doing? Yeah, that was pretty. Hey, I don't mean to sound like a stalker, but dude, whenever there's a good product coming out, like
you want to feel humbled. Like Patrick Walters came on that trip with us, and he got cranking. That dude is an animal. Like I've fished. I feel like I've fished with a lot of like good people.
Mm-hmm.
It's so next level. It's crazy. The dude caught on the final day. I think his bag was 48, 49 pounds, somewhere in there by himself.
No.
Yeah. Like there was like one double digit caught with the rest of the group. He caught 4 or 3 or 4. He like lapped the field, and it's just like, how? Like I'm doing the same thing you are, and you're catching giants. That's how good that dude is. He's just next level,
dude. Speaking of that, I've learned that like I fish with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And like you put a glide bait in my hand, over the dudes that I fish with, I'll outfish them.
Yeah.
You put a jig in my brother's hand,
he'll outfish.
He'll outfish me like. And I'm just, and biggins.
Yeah.
Big. I'm not, like, quantity wise, we could probably go head to head, but he will catch a big one. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
I'm literally throwing at the same crap you are. Like, literally.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll even boat him. You know, like the boater them.
Yeah.
He'll still out the back the boat. He'll catch a bigger one. I'm like, how'd you do that? Like, how?
Yeah.
You know? But
some people just got that right move, and or just extra fishy or something like that, where they just catch more fish than everyone else.
But then like it's also bait related too. Like, I have a buddy that I went with, and he is a beast with the crankbait, like a deep diving crankbait. I don't know.
It doesn't make sense. You can literally be throwing the exact same thing,
and then we go scoping.
Yeah,
he'll hit the fish on the head just like me.
Won't touch.
And I'll smoke him and he won't.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you doing different? Like, you know, but see, other times, like I would think, like whenever I actually start thinking about it, like some things come as second nature.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like for me, hitting a fish on the head, wiggling it just perfectly, it seems easy for me.
Yeah.
The guy next to me, he has no idea.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, he's doing just something like twitching.
Yeah.
And see that's the difference between catching a big one and a little one. That's why I was trying to ask you, like, what do you do to convert the big one?
Yeah. And that's like I said, speed's the best way. But yeah, it's funny to really see that how just, and I mean, like I said, you could be getting, or like you were talking about, you could be literally throwing the same thing and just your buddy is just beating you. And in those situations, like I can really think like fishing with Bobby with motion last year. It was like, I remember giving him crap once where it's just like, well, Bob, you just smell today. Like you got a smell about you that the fish just don't like. So, I mean, I don't get put in that position a lot where I get to outfish someone, but if I do, I'm going to definitely rib on the person for sure.
I actually got to.
I'm going to make them feel it.
I do too. That's the competitive nature,
Absolutely.
man.
It doesn't happen much. I got to take my wins where I can.
I actually got to fish with Bobby a couple times this year, and he come down. I was wrecking him. Like I'm just fresh off of that. The big bass, and like I finished 4th.
Yeah.
And I'm feeling good.
Congrats for that, by the way. That's awesome.
Appreciate it. And then Bobby's like, "Hey, I'm coming down. I kind of film some content, fish with you.
Yeah,
you're tearing them." I'm like, "All right, cool. Come down." He comes down. I literally catch 2 fish, and I'm like, "Bobby, I am so sorry. I have no idea." Well, and he outfished me. He was smoking them.
Yeah.
Like, you know. And I'm just like, Bobby, I this is not normal. Like this is like. I don't know what happened, and this is where it gets bad. I go the next day, 20 pounds. I'm like,
I just was holding back on you, man.
No, see, that's the thing. It makes it look like that, but I actually wasn't. You know, and I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. Like,
it happens. It's fishing,
and I do. And unfortunately, you know, it happens a lot whenever like you're by yourself and you like smoke them, and then you bring somebody along, and it's like, where'd the fish go?
Yeah.
Why? I don't understand. It makes no sense. And then you go back by yourself and you smoke them again, and then now you look like a liar.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But see, that's the thing. I got a GoPro in my boat most of the time because I'm always filming something.
Yeah.
And I got proof.
That's funny.
I got proof, guys. I got flash drives. I don't know, not flash, hard drives. I got hard drives upon hard drives of content.
Yeah.
That is like, I'll probably never get to. You know, to be honest, like make one of those like end of the year videos, like just clips of
highlight
everything. Reel. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That sucker's gonna be like 4 hours long.
That's awesome.
But yeah, that's it's just fun stuff. But like, so from like 2021, that's whenever you started, huh?
That's when
Clutch
That's
started.
when we first started dropping. I've been making baits longer.
Okay, but like that's when you started selling.
That's
like,
when we started selling baits. Yeah.
Thanks for doing that, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. It started speeding up a lot faster after I took it full time, which I'll be 3 years full time in October. So I'm at 2.5 right now. So
man, do you got just random? Do you got any like pros, like the elite pros or MLF pros that you working with or no?
From like paying standpoint, no.
Like, see, okay, guys, I'm gonna answer all the sponsor questions. You gotta give before you get.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna.
Do we have the battery to go into this?
Let me check.
Because this is a side quest.
We're at hour 13. Yeah, we have a little bit of battery still.
All right.
But like, see, here's the thing. Like, whenever, so I reach out to some. Most of the times I don't reach out. But so, like, if I do like a company, I will try to reach out and like just to work with them. Like, for example, guys, if you guys, for those people that leave me DMs about motion and that I promote motion too much and blah, 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 and that he's paying me he's not paying me nothing. Just letting you know. It's a partnership, people.
Yeah.
It's literally a partnership. Like, you don't even know how many hours I spend messing with them baits.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know, like all those times where I could be, you know, whenever the little minnow we got, this is a perfect example. We were out fishing and it was like myself versus my brother out. We always compete. It's stupid, but we always compete. And like, we'll just have a little challenge.
Yeah.
But Bobby also asked me, he's like, hey, if whenever next time you go out, check out these and like see what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah.
Like, give me something back. I'm like, okay. The whole time I knew I could have thrown a different bait.
Yeah.
And I would have probably smoked them.
Yeah.
I mean, not saying that I didn't. I had 18 pounds home.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's not bad. But like, there were little things that I messed with.
Yeah.
You know, with the bait. The whole time I was playing with the bait and filming some content too while I'm at it.
Yeah.
And and that's where you guys see me talk about like, oh, there's a bait coming out. I'm already using it. That's you guys don't know how many hours I put in playing with those baits.
Yeah.
To get them, you know, give that review back to Bobby.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Hey, Bobby, you know, we got to play with this. We got to play with that. The colors, the sparkles, blah, blah, just everything.
Yeah.
And obviously for Bobby, probably annoying by now because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to baits. Like, it's got to be perfect.
Yeah, I got
and
you.
like, even me and my brother got into this. Like, not really got into it, but like, he keeps saying, it don't matter. It does. For me, in my head, it does.
Yeah.
But like, the perfect way to put
it
the
on
damn
there?
thing on so that it's all straight. It's like, it doesn't bend. And like, if I catch a fish and that thing twists, I put it back, you know. I take that time, that little extra step. And guys, Josh is going to explain. What sponsorships is, to get a paying sponsor, you got to be in the elites. At least, probably. I mean, what do you think?
So the thing with sponsorships, and we don't have a pro staff. I've got some buddies that but we don't have a pro staff, and mostly because like I can't get people baits, if that makes sense. Like we don't really have like, we don't have just a box of bosses and a box of baby bosses.
Well, yeah, because you make them.
Yeah,
like
it's a real problem, but it's a good problem, but it's a problem. But like we can't really do a pro staff because we just can't take care of guys the way that they need to be taken care of from that perspective. Now the other issue there, and I think this is definitely probably controversial, and there's not a lot of people that would agree with me on this, but I think we all try to be on pro staffs way too much. Like there's everyone that picks up a rod and reel wants to be pro staff. They want, like, they all want to be the professional angler, which is awesome. Like, you should want to achieve that. If that's your goal in life, go for it. But figure it out on the other end first. You've got to do a ton of work in order to be able to get to that point where like companies can I've gotten several DMs where like they're like, can you sponsor me? This would be really big for me. That's the wrong approach. Like, that's the wrong way to go about it. It's like, okay, like, what? It'd be really big for you. Like, I'm providing you value. Like, it's a mutual exchange of value. That thing vibrate like crazy. It's a mutual exchange of value there.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And if you don't have an established YouTube channel where you're like, I'm gonna do a review on your bait, I've got 3 subscribers. Well, that doesn't do me much good there. So like, don't go out and like try to get all these deals initially. Put in the work up front, build your YouTube channel, build your social media platforms, get the following, and then go pursue the sponsorships. Look, that's what Luke Ruth did.
Yeah.
Luke's great at it. He's really, really good at social media.
Yeah.
And it's like he put in all this work, and now the business stuff's starting to open up for him on the back end.
Yeah, and he's got what, like 40K now? 40, 50K on each platform, basically?
I guarantee you he's probably making more on sponsorships than a lot of pros.
I wouldn't know, but
he put in that legwork.
Oh yeah, 100%. There's a lot of pros that don't even have social media.
No,
and that's a big mistake.
Yeah,
I think in my opinion, it's a big mistake because, like, I mean, I know that I may not sell. Like, okay, so great example. This is perfect example.
Yeah,
Luke.
Yep.
With the Eco.
Yep.
Okay. What had happened was I was watching him, and one of his videos that he was like either Stockton or somewhere, I can't remember what.
Yeah.
But he was throwing the Eco. He didn't even mention it in the video. I watched it. I'm like, huh, that looks interesting. And then he posted a video on Facebook or TikTok somewhere. And he's like, hey, this little bait is like, it catches everything.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I remember seeing that in Modern.
Yeah.
I remember that specific bait laying there. and then I bought it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't buy it through a link of his.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not always through the links.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's nice.
But to people out there that are trying to like start doing the stuff in the social, like Luke's a great example of it, where it's like, okay, so we don't sponsor anyone right now.
Yeah.
It's like, if we started to, Luke's one of the first people I call.
Yeah.
Because look at all this value he's provided me up until this point. Yeah. And I've given him some baits for it and everything. And up until this point, that's been good. But like at some point where it's like, okay, you've provided so much value for me, like I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And in exchange for that to keep going.
Yeah.
But like so many people want it to be like, all right, give me stuff and now I'm going to do the work. Like you got to put in the work and prove your value before you get the pro staff deal.
100%.
And I think there's a lot of companies out there that probably are also like way too easy to just sponsor a bunch of random people. And it's like, you're not earning it at that point. And you're never going to make it anywhere with that company because they see you more as a number or just like a very not valuable customer, a very loyal customer. Basically. Yeah. Okay. You got 20% off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the price that you're paying for a loyalty program.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%.
That's what it like. That's a number to those companies in a lot of ways. So it's like, just go out there and like, if you want something bad enough, don't let a company tell you no. Like, go out there and earn it. It's never been easier to earn it. You have to work. You have to like, okay, yeah, you work a 9 to 5, you got kids and stuff. I'm sure you can find an hour or two here and there to be able to put in that work to be able to grow your stuff.
Guys, that what Josh just said is like just spot on. I'm just going to tell you about a little bit of my growth is within the last year, little over a year, about a year and a half.
Yeah.
I went from like 1,500 followers to a little over 11K.
Yeah.
On Instagram.
That's good.
And
Instagram's hard to grow on.
Yeah, and the thing is, the key was consistency.
Yep.
I have 3 kids. I have a wife. I don't work a 9 to 5. I work a 24 hours.
Yeah.
You know, I have my own business. Yeah. I work a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and
you
then
still find time to do it.
Yeah, and dude, guys, you'll see it. I'll post here after we're done here. I'm gonna make a post, but it's just a picture.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be a reel. It doesn't always have to be a full video.
Yeah.
You literally can put a picture.
Yep.
Just post something that is valuable, not just random garbage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Something valuable. And you'll see. I'll like this time I'm posting about the podcast. Yeah. I'm going to post about like the clutch swim baits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? About Evolve. I'm going to be posting about them.
Yeah.
Posting about motion. You know what I mean? And just tagging all that in the captions, right? It's not that hard.
No.
It actually is not. Instead of sitting there scrolling through reels, make one.
Yep.
That's it. And Josh, how easy is it to make a reel? Like I go on TikTok.
Pretty easy.
TikTok is awesome, by the way. It has a auto cut. You literally, guys, if it takes 15 seconds.
Yeah.
It literally takes 15 seconds.
Like it's kind of the 80-20 rule. If you want to get ahead of 80% of the people, do 20% more work and just do it consistently.
Yeah.
The consistency is the thing that's going to get you a lot further along.
Yeah. And that's what actually started growing. And then thanks to all that, you know, I actually started working with Bobby now.
Yeah.
You know, and then
you proved your value and he's like, why would I say no to this guy?
And the thing is, and another thing, guys, I started out with Bobby like at the low, like at the bottom, right? You will not always come into a company and they want your ideas. Sometimes they just want your reels. They want your pictures.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
Like you don't need to always be pitching ideas. But whenever I started at the bottom, I texted back. I didn't text them. I messaged them through email. And I was like, Bobby, would you be, instead of saying, hey, here's a bunch of ideas, what's wrong with your baits, you know, how to make them better. No, I emailed them.
Yep.
I'm like, hey, do you have even any interest or even will it be valuable for you if I pitch in ideas?
Yeah.
He's like, at this moment, no. I'll reach out whenever we can. I'm like, no problem. Not a problem.
Yeah.
I kept posting. Guys, I kept posting the minnow. I kept posting the jigs. I kept posting everything. Even though the minnow, I did not have the small minnow yet.
Yeah.
I didn't get the small minnow until he's like, hey, you've posted a lot. We're getting traction.
Yeah.
We're going to start giving you some prototypes.
I guess this all gave me an idea. If you want to, like, that was really, really loud. If you want to, like, get in with a company, this is how I do it. I would get as much, get as much good content as you can about that. As many fish catches where, like, here's Bobby's jig down it's this fish's mouth and stuff. Send it to him, tag him on Insta. Like,
you don't even have to send it. You could just tag.
Well, I was gonna say, so like the people that like stand out in my mind that have like I now like I know their names are the people that have sent me stuff where it's like, because I mean, you know, with social media stuff, like sometimes you just don't have something to post that day, and you're like, man, I need something from a company to all of a sudden be like, oh yeah, this customer sent me this catch here, and it's like, all right, well, I can just use that for Instagram for the day. So like it's helping me out, and like people do that enough, and it's like, oh, that dude's always top of mind with me. And like being constantly top of mind like that, it's always kind of like you're not that forgetful, and it's like, well, then like, so you're always top of mind, and you're like, oh yeah, by the way, if you've got a pro staff position for me or something like that, that'd be great. Yeah. And I can keep trying to get you more and more of this stuff. And then I start talking, like you start talking with people. Like there's this one guy, George, dude, he's an older retired guy, and he sends me pictures of fish basically every day. That dude's always top of mind. He's like, oh, just letting you know what I did. I went out there, caught 2 6s and a 7 on the baby boss. And I'm like, George, that's awesome. Like, keep going. It's like, well, if I need a social post, it's like, hey, George, can I post that up there? And he's like, oh yeah, absolutely. That dude's provided, just like, he's always been top of mind. And it's like, if I'm in a pinch, it's like, okay, I can use some of this stuff. Or there's another guy, Rit. I've used Rit stuff before too. And it's like, if we had a pro staff program, those guys are immediately top of mind because they've always 100%, been there. 100%. So it's just always be visible to those companies.
Yeah, that's actually how I picked up a couple.
Yeah.
Guys, not everybody that I tag I'm affiliated with. I just do it because that stuff works.
Yeah, it does.
You know what I mean? Like that. I mean, it is like Evolve.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That stuff is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, them rod stocks, they're freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm not sponsored with them.
Yeah.
I'm not even working with them. If by the time this thing airs, I'm working with them, great. Yeah. If not, I'm still going to use them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, that's where you got to be. And then like you got to post. You got to post consistent.
Yep.
Consistent. And like on my YouTube side, I've been kind of lacking. Like
it's hard to do YouTube consistently.
It's hard to edit.
Yeah.
Like the editing part. Because, I mean, think about it. We do a 8-9 hour video for like a tournament.
Yeah.
And that's what I fish a lot of tournaments.
Go back through all of it.
Yeah. And not only like just to edit about a minute, it takes like an hour.
Yep.
It takes about an hour, a minute. So like you guys see that 20-minute video that I post?
It's 20 hours.
20 hours. Like give or take 20 hours.
Yep.
And like some of them I just cut. Make it's raw.
Yeah.
Most of my content's raw. There's no filters.
Yep.
You know what I mean? I'm myself. If you guys meet me, you guys will know I'm literally what you see on camera.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. Like Gerald Swindle once said, like I was watching one of his podcasts and he said, if you guys want sponsors, learn to fish.
Yeah.
If you are good at fishing.
I thought you were going to go there with another Gerald Swindle quote.
Nah.
The one I was thinking was, what was it? If you want to be in the fishing industry, you got to be a hoe or you gonna be po. I heard him say that like a long time ago, and it just stuck with me. It's just like
that's funny.
Yeah, he was talking about showing up and like washing boats and stuff before shows and everything, and just putting in the hustle.
Yeah,
and it was just it was always hilarious.
But is he wrong?
No,
he ain't wrong. And that's the thing. Like same thing with like. I work with Modern.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for my continual support of Modern.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't work at Modern.
Yeah.
I work with Modern.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point now, like I got invited to do the podcast.
Yeah.
That's because I was consistent.
You were always there.
I'm always here.
Always top of mind.
Yeah. And the thing, there was even a joke going around there for a while last year. I was in here. So I only live 4 minutes from here.
Yeah.
And there was a joke that Matt made up. Shout out Matt Fielder. He's like, dude, we're gonna put you a bed in the back.
Yeah.
You basically live here. 'Cause I was here all the time. And the thing is, here's where just being here is one thing.
Yeah.
But I would come in, and if it was busy, I'd help the customers.
Yeah.
Even though I don't work here.
Yeah.
I'd talk to them. You know, they'll be like, hey, what's working this week? I'll go point them, you know. I know where everything is in the store.
Yeah.
And I know where things are in the back too. So like, you know what I mean? Like I would help out a lot.
I think we need a disclaimer here too. Like, so always be top of mind, but don't be like
annoying.
Yes. Like if you're just always like if you've just it's always nonstop like questions that you know the answer to. If it's always like one of those things where it's just like you're being top of mind to be top of mind, that doesn't work.
That's annoying.
That does not work.
That's
like,
just straight annoying. Don't be dumb, people.
Yeah, it's like if you're catching fish on that product, post a picture with the product. Like it's and tag the companies. They see that stuff, and it's just always being top of mind from that perspective. Like I said, if you're just constantly DMing them, trying to have conversations that don't stop for weeks on end, you're gonna wear the people out.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Like that's the thing.
So you can go too far.
Yeah, you can. No, that's the thing. Like that example that I was giving about me and Modern. Like I wasn't annoying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'd help out.
Yeah.
I literally, and then Wes took me on a fishing trip, and then Matt took me on a fishing trip, and like you grow bonds with the folks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it was like me posting, you know, example.
Yeah.
I'm posting clutch. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just posting, and like I'm not messaging you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not just like, hey, check this out. This is what I caught.
Yeah.
You know, send me a boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? No, I don't do that. It's like the thing is, guys, when you tag somebody, for the most part, whatever you tag them in will pop up in their messages.
It shows me.
So
every
you
single
do
time.
not have to message them constantly.
Nope.
Please don't. Just
at some point it's just going to be one of those things where it's like I can't get back to you that fast.
Yeah, you
It's
will
just-
get blocked.
I haven't had to block anyone.
Really?
Knock on wood. I've never had to block anyone.
What?
But yeah.
And you got quite a following too.
Yeah. I've never had to block anyone. Luckily, it's just I've had. I mean, there's always going to be people. There's always going to be people that have a bad experience. But there's all like
You can't please everyone.
please everyone.
No.
I mean, as much as we want to try, but like I've never had to block anyone. I did get cussed out one time really, really bad. It was when we dropped the ecos initially and we had a drop.
Mm-hmm.
He was a musky fisherman from Michigan.
And okay, continue. I
He
have
didn't
an
know the
idea.
swim bait side of things.
Okay.
And it was right as the eco dropped. We did some social media pushing on it. We piped up demand quite a bit,
Mm-hmm.
and they sold out quicker than he could. He got cart robbed basically. So like
Cool.
it was in there,
what
and then
happened
it
to
was
me.
gone, and it was sold out before he could get it.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, but
It happens.
But he called me and started just cussing me out. And he's like, there's no way that those baits sold that fast, yada, yada, yada. I'm going to expose you for being a fraud. You're not putting that many baits up there. You're lying to all these people, yada, yada, yada. It's like, I mean, I can show you how many we put up and how many we sold in the time that we sold it. Like,
You know, have you ever done that?
I've done a little bit. Like, we'll post videos and stuff about like, oh, these were all the baits in the drop and stuff. But like, I don't want it to come off as like, I'm not.
Bragging?
Yeah. I don't want to like.
That's the thing. See, if you wouldn't have said like led towards the bragging, I wouldn't even come up with that because like from a customer standpoint, it's cool. Like when I see a drop,
Yeah.
and you would be like, just example,
Yeah.
we're posting 200.
Yeah.
and they sell out within like the first 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. I'll be like, fudge, that's a good bait.
Yeah.
I need to.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the next drop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's from a customer standpoint. Like,
for sure.
I
get it.
I'm sure there's people that,
And
like you said, you can't please everybody. There's going to be some butt wipes that are freaking just sitting there and complain and turn on their Karens. You know?
yeah, it happens. And I mean, I've gotten like, and having employees has really helped me with this, where it's like, okay, I know how to correct a situation.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if someone comes at me hot, I'm gonna be able to pivot and like calm the situation down and address their main roots of their problems in a calm, civil manner.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, if someone had an eye fall out or something like that, and they come at me just super, super hot, and it's like, all right, well, look, I'm sorry that you had an issue. 99% of them are good, or 99.9% of them are good. This just happened to be that 0.1% that something bad happened. I'm sorry, they're handmade baits. We try to take our time on them. We try to make sure everything's good, but accidents can happen.
Dude.
So we'll take care of you. We'll ship you a new eye out. You can glue it in, or you can ship it back to the shop and we'll replace it, or we'll put an eye in there for you. Either way. But like slowing people down, just like, all right, let's breathe for a second and like let's figure out how to solve this.
Oh yeah.
The mistake was made. Let's figure out how to solve it.
Yeah, then I mean, I don't know. I think for the most, I like to bake.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like it. And the eye fell out of my eco, but that's my own fault.
I hit something.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Once Luke and you made post that it's a resin bait and the paint is baked in it.
Mm-hmm.
I put it in some places it probably shouldn't have went.
They can skip.
We know.
They can skip.
Yes, and that's where I banged it a little too much.
Yep.
It hit a little too many metal posts.
Yeah, they're for the most part very, 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 very durable. But if you hit a metal dock post at Mock Jesus, I don't care what bait that is. It's gonna have some issues.
100%, 100%. And I actually made a post, and I didn't realize that the eye was gone.
Yeah.
And I posted it, and some dude DM'd me. He's like, "Hey, that's not that good of a bait if the eye fell out." I'm like, if you only knew where I put this thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you put a plastic bait, it's breaking in pieces.
Yeah,
like 100%. You're not gonna get it back. I'm like, you go ahead. I'm like, you go ahead, do it. I'm like, you see all them fish catches though?
Yeah.
You don't pay attention to that.
Yep.
I'm like, I permanent markered that son of a gun in until it broke off. Like till the fish broke me off.
Yeah.
Oh, that was.
I mean, we can send you a new eye too. All you gotta do is just either send me a text, send me a DM on Instagram, and we'll get a new one in the mail for you.
It swims.
New eye, not a whole.
No, we're not.
We won't do that. But we'll make sure you get your eye and get it.
Even with the eye out, it swims great.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you guys, if you don't want to go through all that, Josh will take care of you.
Yep.
But if you don't want to go, just do what I did. Put permanent marker in their thing, and it works.
Yeah.
They work. I mean,
It'll work.
Yeah, they were great. Actually, I freaking enjoy them, and it's been awesome, Josh. Thanks for coming, man.
That we've covered a lot of ground. We didn't necessarily just talk about swim baits. We talked about life. We talked about fishing.
Dude, almost 2 hours.
Man, that's a long one. Aren't these normally like 30, 45 minutes?
Like 45 minutes. Yeah, we try to keep it. Oh man,
this is a two-parter.
Wes is gonna have a few words. Well, that's all right. Wes, it was a good one. Sorry, guy.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to cut some stuff out, I'm sure you can find some stuff cut out. But like,
but no, this was good, and I'm very glad that we touched on the sponsor part.
Yeah, it's something that
it needs to be said.
Yeah, and there's so many high schoolers and college fishermen that are just being told like, you got to get sponsored, you got to get sponsored, you got to get sponsors. And it's like, don't do that.
No,
don't do that. Just start working.
Yeah.
You don't have to know who you're working for. Just start working.
Same thing. Like just kind of a little backstory. Like I worked in a factory, and I got promoted fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And it's all because like that me working behind the scenes kind of situation. You know what I mean? Like things people didn't notice, but the supervisors did.
100%.
You know, like that little extra where we would be building like the steam tables.
Yeah.
For like cafeterias and stuff. And I'd get my work done. I'd hop over and help another fella out. You know what I mean? Or I'd get my stuff done and then I'll go help the supervisor with the paperwork and like, you know, just to keep it going, keep it smooth. And like, between some of the employees, I got some hate because they're like, oh, you're brown nose. I'm like, I'm not. There's no brown nose. Like, I want to better position my life.
Yep.
I'm like, if you guys hate me for trying, I don't care.
Never be afraid to put in extra work.
Yeah. And the same thing. And I got promoted fairly quickly.
Yep.
I really did. And then my pay grade went up and everything. And again, you will get hated. People are going to talk crap. Like whenever,
regardless of what you do, people are going to hate.
Yeah. Whenever I started my YouTube channel, it's not big. It's not big. It's a couple thousand, but it's not big. But like whenever the first few videos, like amongst the peers, they're like, oh, what, are you YouTube star now? You're like, why are you putting your face out there like that? I'm like, first off, why you care?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not putting your face out there.
Yep.
Secondly, I'm trying to make it in fishing.
Yeah.
It may take till I'm 50, but I'm gonna freaking make it one way or another.
Yeah.
If it's the elites, if it's the BPT, if it's doing what Luke does, just social media.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
One way or another. You know what I mean? And it's like people, if you're on the right path, let me say this. If you're on the right path, people are going to hate. If you're getting hated, take it as a good thing.
Say it again.
Yeah.
We've had some, they'll probably listen to this. We've had some haters that, I mean, other companies, people, there's been a lot of hate around us. And a lot of it boils down to is just, we try.
Yeah.
We put in the work.
And then my favorite is like, why are you trying so hard?
Because I want it.
Yeah, it's like, why are you worried? If you this is
I won't be outworked.
No, we're gonna go down a different rabbit hole if we continue this. No.
I looked at the camera and said that to someone.
Yeah.
You got to use the haters as some fuel from time to time.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that's the thing. Like, you know what's the worst part about it is, people that are doing as good as you or better, they won't hate on you.
Yep.
Plain and simple.
Yep.
Plain and simple. You won't get hated by, like, just a kind of little, what's it called? I don't know, story or whatever. But like, whenever I fish against like guys in the solo series, right?
Yeah.
Even the dudes like in the top, you're Justin Garner, you're Marler, you're like Oliverson, Luke Ruth. They're always in the top somewhere.
Yeah.
You know? And never have I ever heard a negative comment towards me. Nothing.
Not from them.
Never. It's the guys that aren't fishing in.
Well, it's easier to tear down.
Yeah.
Like, than try to build yourself up. It takes more work to build yourself up than it is to try to tear someone else down.
Yeah.
And it's the people that try to tear people down are the ones that either are afraid to or don't put in the work to get themselves to that level.
Correct.
Or if they're falling, if they're not, like, live scope's a big, if live scope's a big thing right now, where it's like, there's a lot of people that are struggling to make the conversion to live scope and they're hating on live scope constantly. It's like, do you just not want to put in the work?
Yeah. No, basically that's what it comes down to.
If you want to win, put in the work to win. I don't care what worked 15 years ago. It's not going to work now. Put in the work to win.
Correct.
And that's probably something I probably shouldn't have said as a person that's trying to stay in the middle ground of that whole thing. But
no. You nailed it. That's a good one.
If you don't want to learn it, just go enjoy fishing for fishing or fish a non-live scope league.
And just
be happy with your situation. Like, don't be happy trying to change people. Find happiness within
yourself.
What currently exists. if you can find happiness in that situation, you're going to be a much happier person.
Yeah.
Don't let other people control your happiness. Don't let
100%.
other organizations control your happiness. Find it within. Find something that you can be happy with and just vibe.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
You're
so much happier that way if you can just accept things.
Here's the little example that I'm with LifeScope. Like a year ago, literally not this March, but the March before that, I got my teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
Like bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I had LifeScope, but I didn't know how to use it like good.
Yeah.
Right? This past winter, I put in the time.
Mm-hmm.
Results,
and you're better.
Results show.
Yep.
Results show. And then here's where it gets crazy. I don't care what you guys say, but kids these days, like my children, they do not have the patience as like me or even older generation that did. You know? So like whenever I take out my son and he can pick up a minnow and throw at a fish and have that fish book it towards him, or throw a glide bait and he's watching it on LifeScope and he sees 4 or 5 fish fighting over his glide bait and he gets jumpy and excited. You guys could kiss my butt. I am leaving that LifeScope on there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That excitement in his eyes are worth more to me than comments.
Yeah. And right? I get it where everyone, like, if you don't like it, don't use it.
Simple.
No, I know from a competitiveness standpoint, you're like, all right, well, I can't compete without it. I'm not going to fish tournaments anymore. And you've got every right to do that. Like, I mean, but I think that opens up where it's like, all right, we need to get Randy back in here. We need a non-live scope circuit in the Ozarks where people don't use it. And I think that having that option and having people choose between them, if you do that for 2 years, and especially if it's someone like Randy or someone that puts on a tournament that's known enough, like if Bass and Bob did it, it'd be, or if they had a non-live scope tournament, it'd have enough traction to be able to test it for 2
100%.
years. See what the turnout is. See what the turnout is.
I mean,
if the non-live scope tournaments are, if it's that much in demand, put the product out there, and capitalism will take care of itself.
Yeah, no,
people will
100%.
either support it or they will not support it.
100%.
And see what the results are. If it dies in 3-4 years, it dies. If the live scope stuff dies because fishing without live scope so much fun, that dies. But the people have finally spoken with their wallets, not with their Facebook comments.
I cannot add a single thing to that. Josh,
that's the way to resolve this whole
100%.
thing. Have everyone locally not decide, but just fish what you want to fish. Fish what you want to fish, and 5-6 years down the line, if both exist, awesome. If turns out no one wanted to fish one or the other, okay, the people have spoken.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And like you said, you can't the excuse that's being used right now is that you can't compete without live scope.
Mm-hmm.
Watch John Cox. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
fellas,
it's been a good one.
If you're,
it's been a good one. We should probably wrap this up before we get in real trouble. Before I lose all my customers.
Nah, you're not gonna lose no customers. I promise you that. You're not. Between all the guys posting, but you're not.
Oh, it's a good thing we didn't get whiskey involved with this. We would have really started going.
Idea for the next time.
Yeah,
but no, I do want you to come back.
I appreciate it. Yeah,
and then
thanks for having me.
Me and you can go in a different rabbit hole.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is me tired. Imagine me if I'm full of energy. Let's go.
I'm pretty worn out myself. So, as many of you know, as I build decks for a living, and it's been the monsoon season lately.
Yeah.
So, either I can't get concrete in, or we can't get materials on time. It's been stupid.
Yeah.
It's been really dumb. And like the last 2 days, we didn't have no rain, even though it called for rain.
Yeah.
We've been busting.
Mm.
And we got one done in 2 days, and just. I'm worn out, guys. I physically, I'm done. Like literally, so today, I had scheduled Randy.
Yeah.
Conlon.
Yeah.
For my 4:00, and usually I don't go home till like 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And about 2 maybe 2. Wes texts me. He's like, "Hey, Josh is in town. You want to do one?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've been only asking for Josh for a while, like because I don't have contacts with you, you know."
Yeah.
And so I was like asking all the guys. I'm like, "Who has Josh's number?"
Yeah.
Wes is like, "I do." I'm like,
"Heads up, it's on the website." Sorry,
I got no words on that one. No, that was a good one. Now you make me feel dumb.
Sorry, man.
No.
Like,
don't apologize. Don't apologize. See, that's the thing. A lot of the times that number is not always.
It's not super visible. It's at the bottom.
I know.
Yeah.
I seen
it's
that
not
number
broadcasted out there.
I didn't know it was your number though.
Yeah, I haven't had to get a new phone yet, but I'm sure that day is coming.
No, I did for my company.
Yeah,
I did because it got dumb.
It's starting to get to that point. Like it's starting to get to the point where it's like there's days or like evenings, especially if I get home from work, I just put my phone in the corner of the room and just don't pay attention to it at all because it's like I have to separate from it a little bit.
I have a phone number down there, 1-800 don't call.
I want people to call. If people want to call. But it's if I don't answer your call at 7:30 in the evening, it's not because I don't want to. It's just I mentally can't right now. Yeah. I'll call you back later the next day or shoot me a text. I'll text you back either the next morning or later that night or something like that. It's just I've got to have some sort of separation.
It's like I need a break.
Yep.
I need I don't know.
I gotta design some baits, man.
Either that or you just need a beer and a freaking movie.
There's that too.
You know, like
we're really bad reality TV show. Put on 600-Pound Life and watch it. Watch that doctor just like you have bad eating habit. Like,
no,
I love that guy.
I do what I do sometimes, like to really unwind, is like I'll put my phones away.
Yeah.
And I'll just lay on the couch and turn on like the old Bassmasters, like the 2007s, 2006 is like. I love watching that.
Katie cranking and stuff. It's great.
I watch the one that I watch the most is the Clear Lake one, where they're throwing them Huddlestons.
Yeah, and
I'm just like watching them, just like and I just go to sleep to that.
Yep.
Or sometimes I'll turn on like. This is gonna sound like I don't know, weird, but I'll turn on your videos. Like I'm not even kidding. Like whenever I first started to throw glide baits, I would watch Chris Zaldane.
It's a good
one.
A
lot.
Yeah.
I'd watch him. I watched Milliken a lot.
Some Oliver Nye in there too.
I did. Yeah. We actually
Big
talked to
streams.
we actually talked to Oliver Nye Sunday. We had a podcast with him, so that one's coming out. It's already out. Yeah, my bad. Just go through the list. You'll see. Yeah. Just go back to them. But and then once I figured out clutch, and then I went to your YouTube channel. I'm like, could have been.
Yeah,
I probably watched every video, and I'm not even kidding, because like sometimes we'll travel.
Yeah.
Don't do this, but
watch it while you're traveling. Yeah, you drive a lot. I get it.
I drive, and like especially like tournaments.
Yeah,
like we'll either Bull Shoals or Grand Lake. It's like 2 hours. 2.5, and the amount of content I consume, it's insane.
Yeah,
it really is. And a lot of like on yours, I watch more for the techniques, like the technical aspects. You know, so like I picked up a lot of the weighting, like especially playing with the weights. That was, you don't even know how much that helped me.
Yeah,
like it actually. And then whenever I went out and actually did, see, this is where the pros complain about the younger generation, about the learning curve.
Yeah,
literally took me 2 hours of watching his videos to learn how to weight the glide bait properly.
Yep.
Not just weighted just because, properly.
Yeah.
And then I went out, and it took me another like hour and a half to get the cadence to where it will swim right. It took me total probably 5 hours before I caught my first fish.
Yeah.
Boom. What probably took him years to figure out, I literally did it in about 5 hours.
Yeah, we try to lean in pretty heavy on the education side of stuff.
And see, this is where you, me, Luke, everybody who's got like content, and we do tips, we teach the guys behind us, like so much knowledge that we learn through like trial and error, basically, you know, and they can learn with a 20-minute video.
Yep. That's how everything advances faster.
And that's why they're good, not because of life scope people.
Yep.
That's
they're sponges.
Back to that. Like my boy, 9 years old, he can throw a glide bait. I didn't even know glide baits existed.
Yeah.
This boy can like 9 to 9, like me 9 and him. He would smoke me. He would run circles around me.
Yeah.
That's how good he is.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's crazy.
This kid, even now, he's outfished me before.
Yeah.
And he's 9. Imagine if he doesn't stop. I mean, whatever he does in life is his choice. But like, imagine if he chooses fishing. That's another Trey McKinney.
Yeah, absolutely.
Literally another Trey McKinney.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's crazy how fast everyone can learn. Has that computer died yet by chance? Close. Is it getting close?
Nope, they're still light.
Cool.
So yeah, we're good. We could wrap it up.
I got a 2.5 hour drive on the way back tonight. It's gonna be a late night. We're gonna be good.
Sorry, Josh.
No, it's all good. I appreciate you having me. It was really fun.
This is good. We're gonna have to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
I enjoyed this. This was a good
fun conversation.
Yeah,
for sure.
If Wes would have been here, we would have been done by now.
Yeah, for sure. Wrap it up, guys.
You guys are about done, but yeah.
Cool.
Where can we find all the clutch stuff? Like, what's your socials and that?
Yeah, we're on every social media platform. Clutch Swim Bait Company, the Facebooks, the Instagrams. We got a Twitter, but we don't post up there. TikTok, YouTube, all that stuff. We try to be very education based, try to help people catch more fish on a swim bait. And yeah, I mean, if you're wanting to get on, if you're wanting OGs, darters, ecos, you can pick them up at modern outdoor. Say that word, Modern Outdoor Tackle.
Yeah.
Bosses and baby bosses are pretty much available on the website. In order to be notified of that every time, there's an email sign up list on the website. Just put your email in there, and we'll send you the date and time when we drop them next. So that's the best way to do it. And
if you guys are following me, I have Clutch usually tagged on all my stuff, so you guys could see him on there too.
Yep.
So, but yeah,
yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
It was fun.
Yeah, you guys like, share, and subscribe. We will see you in the next one.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
I think we went a little longer than the 45 minutes.